If there were any doubts left as to which team is the best in Europe right now, Bayern Munich cleared those by defeating Borussia Dortmund in the DFB Supercup. It has become quite the norm for the Bavarians to win titles, from winning the Bundesliga to lifting the DFB Pokals, to vanquishing giants and lifting the Champions League title. This is definitely Bayern's year. And who can bet against them winning the FIFA Club World Cup and end up repeating everything in 2021? And while we've seen the Germans rise to greatness this year, things were totally different last year. They were losing games, were not looking as accomplished as they are right now, and it simply felt as if the club was going to embark upon a transition phase. Things changed when Niko Kovac was sacked and replaced by assistant coach Hansi Flick. Flick's arrival resulted in marked improvement in terms of playing style and results. Flick eventually earned himself a contract until 2023. Now, what is it that Flick did right, and why is it that he's been billed as the man who's revolutionised Bayern Munich? In order to delve into this a little deeper than usual, we're going to do a small data-driven study. Expected goals, XG. XG, or expected goals, is a great metric to gauge a team's attacking output. It measures the quality of a shot based on several variables such as assist type, shot angle and distance from goal, whether it was from a header or whether it was defined as a big chance. Under Niko Kovac, Bayern boasted an XG of 2.20, while allowed an XGA, goals against, of 1.26. They averaged 2.67 goals and conceded 1.43 per game on average. This clearly showed that while scoring goals was not necessarily a huge problem per se, their defensive frailties meant that winning all 3 points was becoming quite a difficult task. Under Flick, however, Bayern Munich managed an XG of 2.51 per game and an XGA value of 0.93. On average, they scored 3.19 goals per game and conceded only 0.85 a game, which marked a clear improvement in every metric that simply underlines the positive influence Flick has had on this team. Tactical formation. Under Flick, Bayern mostly go for a 4-2-3-1 formation. The back four was mostly covered by the likes of David Alaba and Jerome Boateng in defence, while Alphonso Davies and Benjamin Pavard were the fullbacks. However, the Frenchman's injury meant that Joshua Kimmich was deployed as a fullback in the latter stages of the 2019-20 campaign. Otherwise, it would mostly be Kimmich forming a double pivot with Thiago Alcantara before the Spaniard moved to Liverpool. Flick mostly prefers to line up Thomas Müller as the playmaker behind Robert Lewandowski, and now the winger positions are mostly played by Serge Gnabry and Kingsley Coman. The latter is likely to see his first team minutes reduce due to the arrival of Leroy Sané from Man City. Leon Goretzka is likely to play alongside Kimmich in the double pivot, and his passing ability and physical attributes will add another dynamic to the team's excellent midfield. With Boateng now nearing the twilight years of his career and Alaba's contractual situation not being sorted out, Flick will be looking to regularly test a defensive pairing of Niklas Süle and Lucas Hernandez. After suffering an injury-hit campaign, both men will be looking to make up for lost time. Flick likes to see his fullbacks push higher up the pitch and add more width on the flanks. The wingers, on the other hand, can often be seen tucked inside and will always be looking to occupy the half spaces. Davies in particular has taken to a higher role up front, while Pavard prefers to stay deeper, which allows Müller to drift wide and look for pockets of space from there. Moreover, the Frenchman only progresses further up the pitch when really needed. The central midfielders are often seen moving intelligently. Kimmich, for instance, tends to drop deeper and even to the back line to create a three-man defence, while Goretzka will stay in the central area to give further protection to the defence. Hansi Flick isn't one of those coaches who'll stifle a team's creative ability. The German allows versatility in build-up play. The team builds up from the back, and fullbacks are always pushing into the final third. The attacking trio, on the other hand, will be providing width, which allows a line of 5 players attacking the opposition goal. So hey, want to know how we never miss a match? With Fubo TV, you can stream any game, anytime, anywhere. Use our link in the description to start for free and watch your favourite teams live. When they're in the attacking phase, you might see Bayern Munich morphing into a 2-3-5 formation. This attacking overload makes it insanely tough for the opposition to neutralise Munich. Under Niko Kovac, Kimmich was seen as a full-time right-back, however Flick prefers to use him as a central midfielder, since when he's in the centre of the pitch, Kimmich uses his excellent vision and passing ability to launch attacks. One thing that really makes this Munich side stand out is their positional play. Flick likes to see his players probing areas to exploit. The more space a team creates, the more easily it can stretch defences. This further allows the attacking players to occupy half spaces between the defensive lines. Football has changed quite a lot in these past few years, and what we've started noticing a lot is that a lot of teams have started attacking in numbers. Numerical advantage is what really counts a lot. This is something you must have seen from Atalanta. However, it's not just quantity that matters. You need qualitative superiority as well, and this is where Flick has done an excellent job. He's used his players' strengths against an opponent's weaknesses to give his team the edge. Attributes such as speed, skill, ability, and individual positioning are becoming more and more important as the game continues to evolve. Having quality players allows Flick to stamp his authority on the pitch, in the sense that the team's fullbacks and wingers have reached near perfection when it comes to isolating opposition fullbacks. If you've watched Bayern Munich since Flick's appointment, you must have observed that most of the teams try not to press the Bavarians. This happens because Bayern's positional fluidity always gives them more options on the pitch. The likes of Goretzka, Kimmich and Müller have a lot of composure, and even if they're pressed, these three men are able to drag players out of position before passing the ball to the best placed teammate. In recent years, a lot of teams, especially those whose sole aspiration is to survive in a league, have started defending in numbers. You can call it parking the bus. This particular gameplay makes it really frustrating for their opponents. Some of the best teams of the current era do have trouble breaking down such resolute defences. Bayern Munich, however, are not a regular team. Their positional play and the ability of their attacking players to switch positions and continue looking to occupy the half spaces between the defensive lines result in creating disruptions within the enemy territory, and eventually these tactics help them break down defences. Another interesting feature of Flick's Bayern is the offensive contribution of their fullbacks. With completely different skill sets, Davies and Pavard both enrich their team. While the right back would rather use his passing abilities during the early build-up stage, playing in deeper areas, their left back Davies likes to move up the pitch and threaten the opposition backline with his progressive runs. What makes Bayern hard to defend is their attacking fluidity as well. On the last line, Bayern's players interchange positions and act on slightly different lines. This makes it hard for the opposition backline to adjust the height. When the ball carrier is facing forward, there will always be a Bayern player making a deep run. As the opposition defenders are confronted with several attacks, they're overwhelmed by the different reference points, and as a result, they can be caught in bad positions with through passes or chipped balls in behind, such as in the situation below. Furthermore, there's always been a clear change in terms of the pressing style under Flick. Whereas the side did not always press high under Kovac, they now actively press the opposition high up the pitch. They use a rather man-oriented approach when the opposition have a goal kick, and try to regain possession high up the pitch or force them into playing imprecise passes that can be intercepted. While Lewandowski can be seen closing down a centre-back, Müller will be closing down the other one, and in case the opposition has a double pivot to make things difficult for Müller, another central midfielder will step in to help out the club's most decorated player. Even then, there's always one midfielder who remains in front of the defence in order to be available for second balls. Apart from dominating through a high press, Hansi Flick has also made the team a frightening prospect during counter-attacking opportunities. Due to their high pressing, Bayern Munich are now able to quickly transition from defence to attack. If there is a need, they'll even overload the opposition backline. Gifted with tricky and fast wingers such as Gnabry, Sane and Coman, Bayern Munich are able to play quick through balls to the likes of Lewandowski and Müller, who are always probing for pockets of space, and more often than not, get the job done in this regard. Under Flick, Bayern Munich have shown great improvements in pretty much every single area of the game. The German tactician's philosophy revolves around positional play, with high expectations from the fullbacks to support the attack. Munich have a high-intensity pressing style, which further increases their dominance and also results in regular counter-attacks. This has allowed the Bavarians to score more freely than they ever have before. After winning the 2019 Bundesliga title and the Champions League, Bayern Munich are clearly not done. They're still the best team in Germany, and one can argue that they're the gold standard in European football in general. While they do have some of the best players in Germany within their ranks, the same can be said about other European heavyweights. However, what really sets this team apart from the rest is that they've gotten themselves a truly remarkable tactician in Hansi Flick, who's done wonders with this team. The talent was always there, they only needed a tactical genius to improve their efficiency on the pitch, and boy, have they done this in style. We're pretty sure no other team has so much fluidity down either flank.